We're good.
And take.
Yeah.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Jamie, and I'm your host here at The Wave. And I'm so excited to have one of my dear friends, Brooke Wooten, here.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, you have an endless resume, so I'm going to try to hit everything that you told me about you because you are incredible.
Thank you.
You're a Jacksonville native. You are also an HR and operations manager for CD Holdings, which we'll tell everyone about later.
Yes.
On top of that, you have exceeded many degrees that I cannot remember, all of them, at UNF. No, but you went to technical writing and composition, so you serve as a technical writer at UNF.
I'm an instructor of technical writing.
Okay.
And then for my husband's creative agency, I dabble when needed.
Because you have a lot of free time.
Yes. When we'll learn, I have a lot of free time.
Yes. And then on top of that, you all are also a beach volleyball coach here at Fletcher.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do we even start?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just kidding. Let's start with CD Holdings and
Perfect.
what this is,
Okay.
and I'll let you take it off.
Sure. So, funnily enough, CD Holdings actually is something relatively new in the sort of time span of my family's businesses. So I will step back a little further if that's okay.
Yeah.
So my family is the Wooten Pack family. My grandfather started Safe Harbor in the 70s. Which is, it was not what it is now. We didn't have the market, we didn't have the restaurant, it wasn't functioning in that way. But now it is, and that is where my family comes in, and we have Sliders, Oyster Bar as well. So CD Holdings is
One of my favorite
essentially,
restaurants.
thank you, is essentially sort of the management company, and we oversee the market, the restaurant at Safe Harbor, and then Sliders, and then any future projects that we want to work in. So.
Wow. So CD Holdings started in the 70s.
It's just Safe Harbor.
Just Safe Harbor.
Yeah,
Okay.
CD Holdings, I don't know the exact date, but I want to say probably in the last 5 years, 5 to 10 years. I'd have to ask. But it stands for, as I texted you the wrong initials. It's for my parents' initials, Chris and Deanna. So CDW Holdings. And I had texted you CW Holdings, just like not thinking.
Because you got married, and that's your last name now.
That is true.
So that's
Yeah.
exciting. Okay, so tell me about a little bit more of your role with CD Holdings. I know it's a
Yeah.
family-owned business,
Yes.
and you kind of wear a lot of hats.
I do. So mainly HR is pretty much the predominant role that I play. So your classic onboarding, payroll, helping employees with health insurance, things like that. Operations management is the more fun side, I would say, for me, that I kind of get to help out with day-to-day functions. This could look like, planning an event at Sliders. It could be, merchandise, which I have.
Oh, let's
We've got
see.
some merchandise.
Let's see. You got to hold it up to the camera so they can see really
Yes,
well.
we've got our little, this is sick, and this is our little, what are they called? Like the high koozies for like, and then this is one of our shirts that we just came out with, but we're coming out with quite a bit more merch this week.
Love.
So I'm really excited about it. So stuff like that. Unfortunately, sometimes that also means putting out fires.
Yeah.
So more of the day-to-day things that they would need in store. So HR is kind of umbrellaing everything. I would say operations is when I'm like in the store helping out what they need me to do that day.
So do you feel like you dabble both at Safe Harbor and at Sliders, and you're just kind of like running back and forth, or do you have like one main area that you work in?
Probably both. So my office is in Safe Harbor in Mayport, but I feel like I'm running around at Sliders a lot as well too. I think because Safe Harbor is more fast casual and Sliders is sit down service, sometimes more of my energy would go into Sliders just because of that. So that's where we're at.
And then when did Sliders open for the first time?
So Sliders is actually a community staple. It's been around for probably 40 plus years now. And we are not the original owners, but funnily enough, the original owners and our family we've known each other for quite some time. And my dad actually, his first job was at Sliders as a dishwasher.
Wait, that's so cute.
I know. And then fast forward 10 something years, he took my mom on their first date at Sliders.
Wow, so this place means a lot to your family and your parents.
Yes. My dad always calls it his emotional purchase. So I would say, I think it was 2017, 2018 that the Pickett family, who had it prior to us, they were just ready to retire. And so they reached out to us and we were happy to take it on. And So we did. And then we bought the building in 2021, 2022. And that is around the time that we went forth with the major remodel.
I was going to say, I remember this renovation and it was closed down for some time.
Yep.
And then it was the buildup of excitement, like, everybody cannot wait till Sliders opens. And I think it's a perfect location. People bike past it all the time.
Yes.
I don't know if it's you, but the booking of live music. I've really enjoyed every experience that I've had there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So part of my operations, I've done some of the live music, some of the events, anything that needs done.
That's awesome. And speaking of events, you actually are planning one this weekend, right?
Yes. So we have our holiday market this Saturday, the 21st, the 21st, from 11 to 4. So we've done a couple holiday markets before. I think this is our second or third. This one's going to be much bigger. We've got live music from Dustin Bradley. We have multiple vendors coming out for some last minute Christmas shopping. And we also have a couple nonprofits that are going to be attending for education and just the chance to maybe give back during Christmas. So
that's really sweet. And that's why we love places like Sliders, because you guys aren't just a business making money, but you're caring about the community and you want to invite a space where people can come and enjoy themselves, but also give back. Where do you see Sliders, say, in the next 5-10 years, growing at all, new restaurants? I don't know.
I'm glad you asked that, because I think this has been a conversation that we've been having in the last week or so with some of our, new staff and how we want to grow. And to what you said, a lot of it does have to do with keeping it with this community feel. So one of the cool things about Sliders, when we did the remodel, almost every single piece of the store was either a nod to past of locals culture in the past, or we brought in somebody that was local to do XYZ. Like we worked with Edge and Line Design on the interior design. Mira Maps found when we pulled up some of the wood, we found wood from Ed Lumber, who was, I think, Southern Grounds, where they are today. And he was basically where you would get your wood. And so our windows were made from that lumber, which was a pretty big deal. And so Mira Maps actually took that and made it into a Florida surfer map for us. So the frame is the wood.
No way.
Yeah. So just like every little detail was actually had some thought behind it. So I think just keeping with that is so important, especially as, we love Jacksonville. It's going to grow because other people are falling in love with it too. And so just making sure that we can still keep that community feel is really, really important to us. So, maybe adding a couple markets rather than just having a Christmas market, or, bringing in some live music and just keeping it almost this event space, but also still a restaurant for families to come and enjoy.
No, I love that. And I think that's why a lot of people love Jacksonville, because it's local, supporting local. I mean, here we were talking earlier about how we can help each other and just and that's what I love too. And you being a native, like how have you seen it maybe change or grow, or that culture here? I just want to hear from someone that's been here.
Sure. So I first I think of the beach. I mean, when I was younger, I don't remember there being this many houses. And a lot of the actually way the houses are built are very different to what I was used to growing up, more like the kind of beach shacks or Key West style. I think also a lot of it is just the influx of people at the beach. So kind of trying to combat that, like, please take care of it. We don't mind you're here, but take care of it. And then I guess the last one I would say is traffic, which is just a funny one. I've definitely noticed a lot more traffic on 3rd Street, which is something that growing up just wasn't really a thing. Or maybe it was, and I just don't remember.
I say North San Pablo and Atlantic. Yeah. I can never get anywhere.
Yeah. I definitely noticed actual car traffic has gotten a lot different. And I think there's just this opportunity, like you said, to let people know about the community and the stories that are here, and maybe help them understand us a little bit more and love it a little bit more.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I have 2 questions. One's going back to Sliders, and this may not be a fair question because everything's great on the menu, but what is your favorite dish?
Oh, okay. I have, obviously, the fried Mayport shrimp. Like, you can't go wrong with that. That is
classic.
The classic, yeah. So that's, I feel like that's my favorite, but my actual favorite would probably be, I just love the butternut. It's like a nut crust that we would put over like one of our fresh catches, and that's an old Sliders staple. They've kind of kept it, and so we've tried to keep up with that as well. That's definitely my favorite. And then the Krabby fries. I just said 3.
Ooh, that's okay. It's like I said, all the food there is great.
Those are my top 3 for sure.
I always go there and get like the tuna poke bowl, but like
Yeah.
I don't know if you still do this, but you served it in like this big glass.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, it's not just like the bowl, it's like an experience, and like it's just so pretty.
Looking.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool. Okay, and now I'm gonna flip away from sliders and talk about MW Sketch.
Okay,
I know Matt is gonna come sometime in the future to talk a little bit more.
He would
but
love that.
Tell me about his involvement in the community.
Yeah, so he actually started with the remodel of sliders.
This is your husband?
Yes, sorry, my husband Matt. He is from Scotland, so he moved over officially in 2020. And when we were going through with sort of this, do we remodel sliders? What do we do here? We were kind of at like a stuck point, and he said, let me help. So he took on most of that project, and kind of before, as I was mentioning how many people were involved, it's great that you asked, because I get to highlight how important it is that, you know, our community sticks together, because he wasn't even from here, and he knew he needed to make sure that every element of this process incorporated a local business or just nods to the community. And so that was him not even being from here. And so he just said, let's go for this. He helped out with pretty much the interior design. He planned most of it. And at that time, he was working as director of operations for CD Holdings, or I guess when CD Holdings was forming, I should say. And my mom and I were like, you're just really good at this. And like, we feel like we're boxing you a little bit. Like, you should be able to maybe fly with this. And so we encouraged him.
Blossomed into a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah. So towards the end of that year, we encouraged him to just maybe start a business or just do that, which is what he was good at. And, you know, business consulting, design, marketing.
But locally, right?
Yes. Yeah. We have tried to stick more to like Jacksonville based. And so at the end of 2021, I want to say 2022, because that's when we opened again. He went and started his own creative agency, MW Sketch. And so he's a jack of all trades. I mean, he can, design, social media, marketing. He can actually physically paint, photography, videography, and now we've added a few employees to the mix. And
that's awesome. Are we allowed to know maybe a couple or one of the clients that you guys work with locally?
Sure. Let's see. Us. Yeah, Safe Harbor and Sliders are two of them. And we work with Beach Bowl as well.
Okay, so that is one exciting one that I don't think a lot of people know, and one that I got to learn. I'm like, no way. So when you say creative director and working with Beach Bowl, what is he actually doing for them?
So at the start, he was the one quite literally creating all of the graphics that you would see on their social media. Same with Safe Harbor and Sliders. Photography, videography, creating reels, making sure the social media page was up to speed, making sure that everything like specials and happy hour deals were in order and present for people to access, making sure the website was okay, or helping with making things more accessible in that way. And then, of course, we started to grow, so we now have a full-time graphic designer and videographer. So
that's so cool.
They now help us with all of that, and Matt is able to oversee more of it and kind of coach with how things should get done.
Yeah, I remember being on like Instagram and seeing Beach Bowl and kind of the release of when they're going to open. And then I got to meet both of you on a trip that we took, and you're like, oh yeah, like he works on, their digital assets and everything. I was like, no way, like this is so cool. And I was just like, he is so creative. And I think he really just was able to rebrand that place that used to be, such a core part of the community, and even make it more exciting and new and innovative. So kudos to Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, he would love to hear that. And so again, he just wants the community. He wants to be a part of this community that he came in and they like took him in so well. So he just wants to give back too. So.
Yeah, and so we touch on community a lot, and I know that's what Jacksonville's made of. Like, what else can you say about your favorite part of Jacksonville in that aspect?
I think that let's say something unfortunately tragic happens in this community. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody here that's not going to help in some way. I mean, I have seen. It constantly shocks me, even though I know that everybody here is like that and so giving, how giving the people in this community actually are. Because it's all great when things are great, but when things get tough, everybody here is going to show up for that person or that family that need help. And it's really, really beautiful to see that.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because even here within our own company, the difficulties that our families have had here, just our agents leaning in and helping one another, but then branching outside of that and saying, what can I do? Let me help you connect to this person, to this person. And then all of a sudden, like that problem, it just, you feel so supported. So I definitely agree in that way.
Yeah. And in that same breath, I think a lot of people here are really supportive if you're entrepreneurial.
Yes.
So, I love that about this community as well. So, like, for example, Matt is a perfect example of that. He came in from another country, people here just took him in and he decided to take that leap and everybody just really accepted that and have been so supportive. And I've noticed that with myself and other people. If you take something on, they're going to be very supportive about it. I really enjoy that.
I love that. And then in addition to support, so like I said, because you have so much free time and you need to fill things in.
Yeah.
Talk to me about being a coach at Fletcher for beach volleyball.
Yeah. So I taught there for a few years. I went to school there. Parents went to school there. Grandparents went to school there.
You were a teacher there?
Yes. For a few years.
Okay.
Yeah. So while I was there, I was helping coach indoor volleyball. And then now that I'm at UNF and was doing grad school there, that took up most of my time. So I backed off.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, right. So I'm back in for the beach volleyball team, and it's been so much fun. We just started a couple weeks ago, but we've already been able to do like 2 community service projects. We got involved with Coach Brown and Beach's Sea Turtle Patrol by like cleaning the seaweed up, help protecting the dunes, fixing up the beach. And so it's already just giving me that feeling of, like I said, like everybody's ready to jump on something and help. And so we've got some courts. The city has been so generous. We actually have courts that are about right there.
Okay.
That they've put up for us that we're allowed to use. So
wow, I love that.
I know.
Yeah, being so close to the beach.
I know,
too.
it's perfect. So I really like it. It's just an amazing opportunity to I love the sport, so get back involved. But also, the best thing you can do as a coach is just try to make one kid feel good about themselves. So that's kind of the goal for me, at least.
Wow, that's really sweet, and I love that you are also giving back again with your time. But you really plug yourself in, and you stick with that Jacksonville culture. It's like, where can I help? Where can I help develop? Where can I make community opportunities for people to feel welcome? No, truly, and that's why we want people like you on the show to show how great this place is. I'm gonna wrap us up, but like ask a couple last questions. What is something, we're going to go on the business side, about sliders, CD holdings that normal people just don't know?
I think a lot of people really, truly don't know that it quite literally is a family business. Like, and when I say that, I mean, it's my grandfather, my grandmother, my parents, myself, and my siblings are kind of the core of CD holdings, at least. And then we have, in the stores, at least, we've got managers and employees that aren't necessarily family related, but where it really does start is at its core a family business. So I think a lot of people don't know that. And I don't know, I want to keep that family feel. So I think that's why it's important.
It's very sweet that you guys are still, one, a family, because I feel like family businesses can be tough at times.
Oh, sure.
Dealing with financials or the stress or work-life balance. But, just knowing you too, I feel like you're very sweet and all graceful and like all have a common goal. And at the end of the day, love each other. And like you love Safe Harbor and you love sliders so much that you do what it takes to keep it successful. Trying, yes, what we don't see. And in that same lens, like what about Jacksonville? What's something about Jacksonville that you don't think a lot of people know, but you would love for them to?
Ooh, there's a lot more history in this town than we think. And I mean, if you were to go downtown, I just learned this recently in one of my courses that we were kind of the original, in the La Villa area, we were kind of the original Harlem Renaissance in Jacksonville.
No way.
Yeah, which is something really, really interesting. So just that little tidbit, my point to that is think of how many other little tidbits there are about this place that we just really don't know. And so I think places like the Beaches Museum is really cool for that, and just trying to like uncover all these little stories that we don't know, which is so important.
Yeah, and I'll end it with a little plug from you and your podcast and what
talking about storytelling
and what your goals are.
Yeah, so I am just started again on the entrepreneurial thing. Everybody's been so supportive of my little endeavor, but myself, my brother, and Colin Brooks of Sunrise Surf Shop have started a podcast. It's called Jacks of All Trades, and really what it is an opportunity for members of the community in Jacksonville to share their story with us. The goal is to kind of have an archive at the end of, whenever we decide to stop, just have some type of archive of people that have really impacted this place. And so we've had some amazing guests on at this point, and we have a lot to look forward to in 2025. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
look
exciting.
At us both. Like,
I know,
we talked about it before.
Each other.
Yeah, we're talking about the developments in Jacksonville and the great things to
right.
come and things you've seen across the way. But you're really touching into people's lives and the people that, like you said, are local leaders and have had an impact here positively on Jacksonville, and you want to preserve that.
Right.
So
and time for them to brag on themselves because they deserve it.
Just like we have bragged on you because you
thank
deserve
you.
it. And honestly, I have a whole list here of probably more things that Brooke has accomplished in her days. She's an excellent fly fisher. She's seen moose out in Colorado when no one else has.
I did. I know. It came to me.
It came to you. Yes, she's a moose whisperer. But thank you so much for your time today.
Jamie. This was so much
this.
fun.
And thank you all.